Welcome everybody. Great to see so many friendly faces today and on a beautiful, feels like summer, autumn, it's right in that mix today. So beginning of autumn, welcome to our our October pitch event. My name's Aaron, I'm CEO of VANTEC, and we've got some great companies lined up for this afternoon. So to start off, I'd just like to recognize that it is with gratitude and respect that we acknowledge and that we are gathered today on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. We've got some amazing sponsors that without we would not be here today, so a big shout out and thanks goes out to our partners and sponsors here. Especially want to highlight Manning Elliott. We're in their offices today. Beautiful setup here, beautiful spread for the networking afterwards as well. And grab a drink and get to that after these amazing pitches. Like to recognize Keiretsu as well as a partner of ours. We see them as sort of the stage beyond VANTEC, so a lot of our companies will progress and start raising capital and presenting at Keiretsu, and Greg Hill is here today. If anyone would like to learn more, talk to Greg. All right, so a little bit about VANTEC for those of you who are here for the first time. We are a community of angel investors and early stage funds. We have 11 pitch events a year. We do those monthly, usually on the first Wednesday of every month, and we take August off. We have 10, 15 companies present at each of those events, so you get over 100 pre-vetted companies, and obviously an opportunity to rub shoulders and network and build your connections within the angel community in Vancouver, and also promote your programs and events. So if you're a member, we invite you to make any community announcements that you have. We have one being made today, and obviously we try to keep you in the loop with everything that's happening around town as well. I would like to talk a little bit about a couple of changes that are happening. I've mentioned a few things that we're working on, and so behind the scenes we've been working on a new system for tracking the companies and for communicating with the companies, signing up for events, all of those sorts of things. That is called DLM. So we are moving from GUST to DLM. And so we are going to be giving all of our members access to that on, actually I have that on the next slide, so we'll talk about that in a moment. Part of the changes that are coming with this switch over to DLM are the guests and the new membership types. So I mentioned this a few months ago, so guests are obviously welcome, but we are moving towards a VANTEC approval process for that. So guests will be able to sign up for the events themselves, can also be introduced to me, and we can have a conversation, and I will approve all of the guests that come to these events. And obviously we're trying to build our network of VANTEC members. So we're looking for accredited angel investors and investors in early stage companies. And so if you are interested, please reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to have a conversation and chat about becoming a member. We have group memberships as well, because one of the things that is really great about the guest memberships we had before is that you could bring sort of family member or colleague and that sort of thing. So we've changed it so that we actually have group memberships. So if you'd like to add another seat to an in-person membership, it's just an extra $200 a year. So very reasonable to add an extra seat there, or an extra $100 for online seats memberships as well. So those seats are for family members, they're for colleagues of investment funds, those sorts of things, but we can always have a conversation about that at another time. So to DLM, we're going to give everyone access on Friday. So you're going to receive an email invitation, you'll be able to create your profile. The reason I'm doing Friday is because I'd like you to kind of play around with it, get lost, have all your questions over the weekend, and then we're going to have a member training session with DLM on Tuesday at 9 a.m. So I'll also be sending out an invite to that. That session is going to be recorded. They put together a whole bunch of guidelines and training material that we'll make available to you as well. Trust me, I wouldn't have picked a system if it wasn't really, really easy to use and navigate, so I don't think you'll need too much help there. The one thing I will say though is if you do want one of those group memberships, let me help you set that up. We'll go through that, because you set up a deal room for your group and then you invite them to that, and then we invite everyone to VANTEC. And the reason that's so great is because then you can collaborate with one another on the companies that you're looking at VANTEC. If you're interested, you can highlight it, you can start a conversation with your group, and you can kind of go back and forth on that. So it's a really, really great feature. And obviously, if you have any questions, reach out to me as well. You should already know how to contact me, but you can reach me at aaron@vantec.ca, and Lindsay can also connect you through to me as well at either community@VANTEC or lindsay@vantec.ca. So that's the deal, and that's the new things coming down the line this week. Next week, we will be launching a new website for VANTEC as well. So we've been busy back behind the scenes, and there's a lot of great things coming. So I'm excited to showcase all of that to you shortly. Now to some other community announcements. Take a breath. We've got Lillian and Tony, and I'd like to introduce them and let you say a few words about SmartWell technology and programs that you have. I believe this is beyond that though, so I'll let you, oh, you don't need that? I'll let you take it away, Tony.
Not as tall as Aaron is. Thank you very much. I didn't know I was going to make a presentation, so I'll try to make it very brief about the company. The company is called SmartWell Technologies, and it's a agricultural technology company based out of Asia, China in particular. What these guys do is they have technology to create real-time data information on any particular agricultural space. So for example, they can look at a plot of land of X acres, and they can, using data achieved from that area, they can ascertain the quality of the crop that's in existence. They can look at forecasting forward how far it's going to be before you can harvest. They can look at such things such as natural disasters and its effect. And they do this by a process called digital twinning, which means they aggregate data from that area. They create a model using artificial intelligence and machine learning, and they put in various inputs so that if they change a variable, you can determine whether or not they would have a positive or a negative impact on the subsequent agricultural space. So who would use this technology? First of all, agricultural people, farmers obviously, they want to know the best resolution for their crop. Secondly, insurance companies, finance companies, because they fund these farmers, so they want to know the progress of their crop at any given time. And thirdly, governments. Governments want to know the yields of a particular crop at a given time so they can have estimates for their national database. So that's one aspect of the technology. The other aspect of the technology is also when you look at greenhouses, for example. So they have this same technology, but it applies in the sense of greenhouses. So in Canada, our biggest crop we have these days is, besides tomatoes, is cannabis. So there's a big demand for some way to optimize the crop of any particular year. So they do this by using this technology. They change variables digitally, and they can determine whether they need more water, more light, more fertilizer, whatever it may be. So I'm really making it very simple. But there's technical geeks in here. You'll have to ask the technical guy. I can only tell you the overview. So those are the models. I didn't know there was a roadshow. I'm sorry. Apparently there is a roadshow on October the 7th at 4:30 to 5:30 here.
Nope, Lillian?
Yeah.
It's online?
It's an online roadshow.
Here, Lillian, you can say a few words. Lillian?
Okay. If someone interested in the SmartWell technology pre-IPO, welcome to send email to Tony or me, so we can send the Zoom meeting invitation to you to learn more about SmartWell. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have it up? Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So, so these are the sorts of announcements you can make about programs, about deals that you're involved in, opportunities that you think would be great for the rest of the members to hear about. So thank you, Lillian. Thank you, Tony. All right. We have a number of other announcements I just want to rip through here, but the biggest thing to mention is that we include most of these in our newsletter. So if you want to stay up to date on the things happening around our ecosystem here in Vancouver or in the surrounding areas, then follow us and sign up for the newsletter. Things like the MasterCard MasterCard and VANTEC journal is hosting this Breaking Barriers workshop, I believe it's, event, for challenges and opportunities for underrepresented voices in tech. Sorry, I butchered that a little bit, but this is happening on October 3rd, 5:30 to 7:30. Kretsu Forum is also having their Vancouver chapter meeting on October 8th from 1:30 to 4:30. We have the Frontier Summit coming up at the end of October, 22nd and 24th. And Life Sciences BC is doing their Invest BC, I believe this is the 9th annual, on October 29th and 30th. All right. We are also doing a capital raise over at What If Capital. So if anyone wants to learn more, you can talk to Mike or myself or any of our board members. We are looking to raise from now until the end of the year. We have allocation for the 30% tax credit. So if you invest, you do get that 30% tax credit if you're from BC. And we're going to be doing some lunch and learns in October and November. We'll send out invites and just announcements about that to everyone as well via email, but do let us know if you're interested. Obviously, we're very well connected with VANTEC. We look at the companies that come through here as well as some other deal flow channels, so good way to get the diversification of the companies that pitch at VANTEC. All right, we have our startup visa program. Jackson, if you'd like to say a few words about that, I'd be more than welcome to.
Yes, we have an exciting startup visa program. Actually, we do have an event that is online only tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you are a full VANTEC member, you should expect to get a link, or if you signed up using the VANTEC website, you'll get a link to our Zoom event, which will have all the registration information you need to be able to access our very exciting pitch event, which is coming up tomorrow, 9 a.m. And you'll get to see the greatest and bestest of new foreign companies that are looking to make Canada their home. And our members have actually, spent the time to really make sure these are the best of the best. So I invite those who are interested to sign up if you're a full member or via our website. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much, Jackson. All right, so we have the pitches. This is what you've all come here for. So excited to dive into those. We have 6 90-second presenters. And we have 6 5-minute presenters. So you have either the paper copies of the feedback forms, or you can take a shot of this and use the online version. This is to show your interest. If you do show that, we're going to connect you with the companies. If you have any feedback for them, but you don't show interest, we'll still pass that feedback along, but it'll be anonymous, and it's just to help the companies as much as possible here. So here are our companies presenting today, like I said, 6 of each. And so without further ado, we'll jump into the first one, and I will introduce Sohail to tell us more about HYDRON Energy.
Thank you, everybody. So my name is Sohail Kiavi. Today I'm presenting HYDRON Energy. We are fueling the net zero transformation. That's what we are doing. So everybody is familiar with the net zero challenge. There's about 30 to 40 gigaton of carbon dioxide to be removed. About 32% of that is hard to abate, means that it's very difficult to remove. And you cannot use wind, solar, hydrostatic, electrification, others, they all fall short. So you need something better like biofuels, and the biofuels, certainly they're raw, you need to upgrade it. And upgrading technology, the conventional, they're quite expensive, mostly coming from oil and gas industry. So we need a new solution, something that would be a lot better in terms of separation. So the technology is inspired from nature, similar to how our body actually removes carbon dioxide or oxygen from air. So it's very low energy, low cost, about 50% cost saving, and that gives you a platform technology. We can do both biogas upgrading, direct air capture, rare gas separation, and clean hydrogen. So far, we've done our first pilot, first commercial unit with Ford. This is ongoing. And then we are working on e-methanol applications and also the rare gas separation with a large aerospace company. So this is my second startup. The first one was VANTEC, which is carbon capture, about $1 billion now evaluation on that company. I exited in 2019. So we have about 20 people there, about financing that we are looking at currently about $1 million bridge round. So thank you very much for your attention.
Great job, Sohail, and always love to see a serial entrepreneur coming back from a very successful startup. So congratulations on that, and certainly learn more from Sohail after in networking. Next up, we have REFOUNDRY website builder. So I'll invite Sean up to introduce us.
Hi, my name is Sean Johnson, and I'm the founder of a low-code website builder, REFOUNDRY. Imagine if an agency could cut website build times by up to 75%, while still being able to launch fully custom, fast-loading, SEO-friendly websites, all without sacrificing a single ounce of creative freedom. At my web agency, Forge & Smith, we were frustrated by the traditional manual coding methods that took a ton of time and often led to delays and budget overruns. Even small changes often needed a developer. We wanted to find a way for our whole team to contribute to allow us to speed up the process without losing quality. Our clients felt it too. The site still needed too much developer support and lacked the creative freedom they needed. Existing site builder plugins were clunky and bloated, while low-coded platforms were too creatively limited. So we created REFOUNDRY, a low-code professional site builder that helps agencies and freelancers build websites, WordPress websites faster and smarter. REFOUNDRY is different. It's themeless, putting all the controls for content, styles, and layouts in the visual editor. There's no need to write any code or get a developer's help. And it's fully compatible with WordPress, the world's #1 CMS that powers 60% of the internet. In our agency, we slashed build times from an average of 160 hours to just 40, adding over $300K a year to our bottom line. We've launched REFOUNDRY as a single site annual license model using $250,000 of IRAP funding and over $1 million in SHRED rebates. We're also rolling out an AI-powered build and support assistant called Scout later this month. With 60 customers and growing, we're gaining momentum through our grassroots outreach directly with early adopters. We're seeking partners and investors to help us scale. If you're excited about the prospect of tapping into the $3.6 billion low-code market opportunity, we'd love to talk.
Amazing. That was Sean with REFOUNDRY. All right, next up we have CLOUDMIND. So I'm here to introduce Monica.
Imagine a world where loneliness is a thing of the past, thanks to a trusted digital companion, always ready to engage and support. That's our vision at CloudMind with our AI companion app, CloudCare. Hi, I'm Dr. Monica Theis, co-founder and CEO of CloudMind Software. We're building this app to support memory loss patients and their caregivers. Let me tell you about Angie, an 80-year-old who has found joy through interacting with her digital friend, Kathy. Kathy talks with her about cherished memories as well as offers comfort when she needs it. This also helps Angie's caregiver, Jimmy, to be able to provide more personalized care while reducing his stress and burnout. We're partnering with memory care facilities to get this personalized AI support for both caregivers and residents. Our MVP, deployed in 6 care homes, has already shown positive results in terms of how people are using it, showing the real possibility for this product. We're raising $750,000 on a $5 million valuation to help us extend the runway, expand our team, as well as enhance our product. Currently, we're finalizing an LOI with our first paying customer. We're also EBC eligible, making it offering some tax incentives for the investors here. Your support will help us to grow our team as well as make a tangible impact to countless lives. I invite you to connect with me and join us in creating meaningful connections, one companion at a time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Monica. All right, next up I have Neil to introduce us to BitRocket Tools. And Neil has his product here at the back as well, so he'll be showing everyone afterwards. But Neil, I'll hand it over to you and we'll let you take it away.
I'm the low-tech guy here in the room today, I can tell. Anyway, my name's Neil Morgan. The company name is BitRocket Tools, Inc., and the product is the BitRocket. The BitRocket has 2 functions. One, it is a power tool bit holder, and it is also a stubby screwdriver. I envision a product line and a brand from this first product coming out of the BitRocket. There will be other rockets and other versions of the rockets. The problem, let's go to the next slide. The problem that this product addresses is a cluttered, bulky, inefficient, confusing, and expensive power tool accessory storage market. The advantage over competitors is the rocket's innovative design, compact size, and its super efficient functionality. Stage we're at, the rocket is patent pending, prototypes made, and has been market tested. Industry connections are many because I had the North American rights for the MegaPro 15-in-1 screwdriver out of Vancouver. It's had its 30th year, and I traveled all over North America selling that product. So I know the target markets, and I know the supply chains very well. Ask is for a minimum of $150,000 to a maximum of $400,000 for 1/3 of BitRocket Tools, Inc. The assets acquired from the maximum raise will be branding, trademarks, more patenting, website, and an inventory of 20,000 rockets. Anyway, thank you all for your time today, and let's get this rocket launched. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Neil. All right, next I've got Rob. Rob's introducing us to his new business, FireFoam Pro. So excited to hear more from you, Rob. Over to you.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Rob Reese. I am the co-founder of FireFoam Pro with Marcus Ramsey, who's the inventor of FireFoam. Forest fires are becoming more and more a national and global challenge. In Canada alone, there is approximately 2.5 million hectares of burning fires annually, costing insurance companies over $500 million a year. If you look at what happened in Jasper with the recent forest fire, over 1/3 of the town burnt down, causing hundreds of millions of dollars of damage. Causing hundreds of millions of dollars of damage and proving that current solutions do not work. And that's why Marcus invented FireFoam. FireFoam is a closed cell foam technology that is fireproof. Simply put, you can apply a tarp over any structure and spray it with FireFoam. Then it is fireproof. Once the fire is no longer in danger, you remove the foam and the structure is left intact. There's no product on the market other than FireFoam that can completely protect a structure from a forest fire. When you look at the cost of rebuilding a home after it's been burnt down, rehousing the people, and replacing the contents, you can see that FireFoam Pro has the opportunity to save a lot of structures, to save a lot of money, and to make a lot of money. FireFoam has a patent, and we've tested it, and we've in talks with a lot of different groups and agencies, including a very recent conversation in the electric vehicle lithium-ion space that was very good conversation. We're looking to raise $50,000 to do advanced field testing, and we're looking to bring on a lead to partner with us and help take FireFoam global. Thank you.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much, Rob. And for the last 90-second presentation, we've got an update from Richard to tell us more about Celerity.
Okay, well, we're getting that up and running. So we did a presentation a year ago, and in March we formed a new company. So I'm giving you an update on Celerity. So we're elevating marine transportation. The problem is boats are slow, they're inefficient, and they create a lot of emissions, and that's due to water drag. Our solution is the dynamic air cushion vehicle, which raises the vessel out of the water on an air cushion, but the propulsion system raises the vessel and provides thrust in one simple motion. The economics of this are spectacular for the customer. Faster speed means more revenue, lower power means less cost, and we can have zero emissions. We're in the process of getting to a 12-passenger ferry that we will be releasing in the market in early 2026. Since we formed the company, we've done a lot. We've now got a team of 16 people, 7 employees and 9 advisors. We have completed 4 prototypes, and by early next year, we will have 1 on the water. We have launched our new branding, some of that which you will see here, and we've done a first close on our financing. Lots of additional things to come. The team, this is some of those members. I'm only going to highlight Xavier, who was a space person with McDonnell Detweiler and then hired by Tesla and did all the problem solving for them. And in the advisory board, we have the person that set up the Chief Technology Office of NATO and is extremely excited by what we're doing. So where are we? We're raising 1.5 million. We have already closed on $750,000. And WHATIF is one of the 4 larger investors. They invested $150,000 into Celerity. We've set up to be efficient such that we've got the EBC 30%. You can also invest out of your TFSA or RRSP.
Perfect. Amazing. Thank you so much, Richard. All right, so getting into the 5-minute presentations now. So we will bring John up to introduce us to the first company here, WHATIFI. So we'll get the slides up here, and John, I'll hand it over to you.
If, the most powerful 2-letter word in business. What if I raise $5 million? What if I raise 10? What if I hire Bill or Sue in Q1 or Q3? What if I increase my prices, or what if I scale back my team? Companies live or die based on how well they answer these what if questions, and decision makers keep or lose their jobs based on those outcomes. Have you ever asked your team a particularly tricky what if question, cash flow, revenue, runway forecasts, and the default answer? Let me get back to you. Your answers are trapped in their stale, error-prone spreadsheets, buried behind formulas, and scattered across tabs. Your data is stale, out of date, and it can take months to build a model and weeks to change those. And even then, the technology is often siloed in the world of finance. It's a language that most of us don't speak. We are visual creatures. What if you could create, compare, and share multiple what if simulations using a decision tree-like interface, all in real time? What if you could connect together a series of pre-built business logic events, income, expense, banks, loans, customer growth, churn, all without formulas or spreadsheets? What if you could use LLMs to build these models, to query these models, and course correct strategies in real time on the fly? Here's an example. We're helping one of the largest visual effects studios in North America. They are renegotiating because of the writer's strike. They're financing right now, and they have to refinance with Morgan Stanley. We built 9 different margin, EBITDA, cash flow, and forecasts for 8 of their offices on a Saturday. My name is John, and for the past 7 years, I ran a visual effects studio here in Vancouver. I had 140 employees. I grew revenue from $4 million to $30 million, and we had a ton of what ifs. WHATIFI comes from this world, where we use a very visual node-based technology to build all the images that you see in the movies. This is a complex problem, and we've developed our node-based solution, which is also very complex. We are not a UI wrapped on a spreadsheet. Instead, we've created a new language for finance, a schema that lets you define finances and how they change over time. Our defensibility will come primarily from our visual-first approach, and will be complemented by our unique AI integrations. We initially built WHATIFI for the film television industry, resource-heavy, lots of variabilities and project-based. But since then, we've found there's actually a larger demand to couple financial data with operational data, resources, timings, plans, projects. As we build more of these pre-built business logic nodes, we can support more and more types of use cases. We have a massive land and expand potential. We've been busy. The team has been R&Ding the software for years part-time, and we're now all full-time on the project. We fully rewrote the technology, so what you're going to see today is not an MVP. It is a real functioning product. We turned on revenue in September, and we're onboarding 14 of our early adopters as we speak right now. Our revenue model is SaaS-based, $125 base case, $1,000 for enterprise. We also have a setup fee, and we have these custom modules that you can add to increase our revenue. We are testing our go-to-market with a wide range of companies, And by the end of the year, we want to zone in on the one vertical segment there that has the highest ROI and the cleanest path to revenue. Our target is 540K ARR and 115 active clients by the end of 2025. And how did I land on all of those numbers? Well, I used our own technology. I modeled 27 different scenarios in 29 seconds. Well, now let's talk about the business. There's a lot of information on this slide. I can get into it in the Q&A here, but to date, we've been mostly bootstrapped using SHRED tax credits and co-op student funding. I personally invested more than $700,000 to get the product to where it is today. And now that we have revenue, we're into our pre-seed phase. We're seeking $750K USD on a safe with a $6.5 million cap. We've raised 187 of that so far from 5 angel investors, including one who's in the room here today. And this will give us 12 to 16 months of runway so that we can focus on our AI initiatives, integrations, and most importantly, sales. So how do we win? Anaplan is a $10 billion company. Alteryx, $3.5 billion. Workday sold for $1.5 billion in 2018. We're going to win on design by combining both engineering and art in a framework that's bespokely built to support AI, not sprinkled on top of it. Intuit might come knocking, Anaplan might be interested, or they're going to be a Microsoft data sort of play in our future. Best to come by and check out what we're doing live over here. I've got a computer set up. We're also, if you want to scan that QR code, we're doing an investor session specifically for tech demo next week as well. And I welcome your questions.
Thank you so much, John. All right, so we'll jump into some Q&A here. Does anyone want to kick us off? All right. We've got a mic there for you.
I'm just curious, how are you guys acquiring your initial customers? What are some of your go-to-market motions to get this initial, very challenging to get initial customers?
I'd say, yeah, it's a customer, we're in a customer creation type of product for sure there. It's not something that people are natively looking for. Initially, I'm going after the world that I come from, film and television, so I'm having a lot of traction in that space. They work this way, so they get this, so they're able to see this and kind of jump to the value proposition. Honestly, for some folks, the UI is a bit of a daunting thing up front there too. People that work this way get this. So a lot of traction in that space. We're getting traction from startups that are reaching out. We're getting warm introductions. Aaron introduced us to one of the companies that presented a couple of months ago, and we build out models for them as well. So it's very much direct outreach at this particular stage.
Thank you.
And I can definitely see how this has a lot of different applications as far as what we do when we're investing at WHATIF. I mean, looking at how different rounds of funding impact things, looking at the waterfall calculations on that, looking at how we're supporting our startups as well and what they could be doing as well. There are what if scenarios in pretty much everything. Yeah. You are trying to figure out where your best customer is, and you want to do that by the end of this year. Yeah. What are your strategies there? Can you expand on that a little bit more for us?
Yeah, certainly it's a great problem to have where kind of everyone has you could use it for this, and you could use it for this, and you could use it for this. And that's a great problem to have, but it's a terrible problem to have at this particular stage. So it's about focus. So we're probably looking at about 7 or 8 different types of verticals, but we're really focusing on 3 that we think are the most interesting. The first one is post-production, large resources, lots of moving parts, project-based. That's one vertical that I'm interested in. The second one is taking that same capacity planning, which is one of our core technologies, and looking at agencies that do project-based work. What if we get this project? What if we get that project? It's a really great model, and it's one thing that's really hard to do in a spreadsheet. So there's a lot of ROI in that space there too. And the third one, what was my third one? I had a third one there, it was all rehearsed. Well, yes, yeah, finance. So just basic FP&A is something that we're getting a lot of traction. Oh, fractional CFOs. So we're having a lot of success in the fractional CFO market. What's beautiful about that market, it is a one-to-many market. So I'm teaching one person to use my software. They are in turn using on multiple clients, and they're also generating revenue from that. So that's a really great business model because they're making money, I'm making money. Because they can do their job more efficiently, they're making more money. So that's been a great opportunity for us as well.
Wonderful. Any other questions? Yeah, we've got a question here. No? Yes, there is.
Just a quick question about the model working in the background, the technology. What you said LLM, I know LLMs are not that great with math, so I'm wondering, are you like augmenting that with some math engine? Or
So the beauty here is we're not using the LLMs to do the math, we're using the LLMs to process the information. So I'm doing all the math, all right? It'll get more techie and you're welcome to come back and I'm not gonna run through it, but we are calculating bucket loads of data. We're doing all this on AWS and we're storing all that. We're using LLMs, and again, this is part of the journey right now, A, to build the models, B, to ask questions of the models, C, to ask questions of the outputs afterward. Which scenario is the best and why? Which one do I not make payroll in, et cetera, on that one. So it's a different implementation there. We are not using LLMs to calculate data.
Do you have your own model, or are you using?
We're building it to be interchangeable, so we want to make sure that we are future-proofing ourselves there, so everything we're building will allow us to swap in different LLMs. I imagine eventually we'll want to build a small language model for some of the interactions. So we're using large language models to build scenarios, but we're using small language models to process the data.
Do you have data to back it up also?
Sorry, can I ask that?
Are you training the model, or are you?
Early days, but yes, we are. So we're working with a couple of our pilot projects and we're using their data to test our thesis and theories. That's where a lot of the fundraising would go to really build that out. We consider it to be our big differentiator. If I can nerd out, there's a lot of spreadsheets that kind of give you the answer. We have the what and the how that generates the answers. So we have a much richer data set to inform the models as opposed to just analyzing the outputs.
All right. Thank you so much, John. All right. So definitely talk to John afterwards. He also had that QR code. I believe he'll have information on the session next week as well. So definitely check that out, because I think one of the things with this this company, this business, is how complex it is. That's a lot to do with the competitive advantage and how you protect yourself, but it is something you need to wrap your head around. So definitely chat with John afterwards. Next up, we've got ALGAFILM, so we'll pull up the slides for that, and I'll introduce Aaron to tell us more about what you're working on with ALGAFILM. Take it away.
Hi, I'm Aaron Britton with ALGAFILM Technologies. We are developing a platform technology to intensify algae growth. Algae is an organism that can be used for a variety of purposes. We're currently focused on the wastewater treatment application, but it's also a platform technology that can be used to produce bioproducts. So for example, animal feed, human food like spirulina, bioplastics, as well as biofuels. So what the technology looks like for those of you in the front, you can see it. It's basically a field of cones that are suspended on cables, and really provides a high surface area for algae to grow upon. We've been able to demonstrate 4 to 5 times intensification relative to our competitors, so growing 4 to 5 times more algae in the same footprint, and reducing installation costs by 50 to 80% relative to our competitors, while using 80% less energy than conventional water treatment. In terms of our business model, there's 2 primary sources of revenue we're looking for. The core technology, the algae cone carriers, which you can see at the back after, are going to be our primary source of margin. So because they're relatively cost effective to build, we expect to be able to start at about a 50% margin and push up towards 75% on that product as we scale manufacturing. And then the balance of plant, so the concrete, the earthworks, the geomembranes that consist part of the installation, would be more conventional installation by an EPC contractor that would do the on-site construction for us, typically more around a 25% margin. Pilot projects and service agreements we look at as business development opportunities with customers, as well as ways to suck data out of our operating facilities to help accelerate our iteration of our product development. Typical project size for us would be around the $2 million range, which would be about a 5,000 square meter installation. So picture a soccer field covered with these cones that's irrigated with wastewater producing biomass. Our team is one of our greatest assets. A group of 5 founders have been involved in some of the largest developments in the water sector in Canada. So Pierre, Stephen, and Rocco all worked at Xenon, where they developed the ZWeed technology that was ultimately sold to GE. Robert Beers, our CFO, formerly at HYDRON, a water modeling software technology, sold to Hatch in 2021. I'm formerly the Chief Technology Officer at Ostara, where we grew from a UBC spin-out through to about $100 million in international sales. Our roadmap to commercial launch, we've been working on the technology for about 3 years now, developing the carriers, filing the original IP on the core technology, and then doing in-house pilot testing to demonstrate that 5 times intensification. We're currently building our pilot systems for our first field demonstration with Metro Vancouver at the Anasis wastewater treatment plant. That'll be starting up in about a month. And then we're looking to hook our first commercial demonstration customer in 2025 with a view to commercial sales starting in 2026, 2027. What we're currently looking for is our seed round, looking to raise $1 million on a $5 million pre-money valuation, primarily to support our field demonstration with Metro Vancouver, scale up our manufacturing capability, and develop the building block for our commercial modules. Happy to talk to you guys afterwards if you have any questions now also.
Yeah, great. Thanks so much, Aaron. Round of applause. So let's dive into questions. We've got one at the front here.
The question was how we compare to anaerobic digesters. Anaerobic digesters primarily used for processing organic matter, producing biogas, bioenergy. We would actually look at anaerobic digesters as one of our primary markets because the liquids coming out of those digesters have really high nutrient content that can be used to grow a lot of algae biomass. That biomass can then be fed back to the digesters to produce more bioenergy. So digesters primarily used for removing carbon from wastewater. We're primarily focused on removing nitrogen, phosphorus nutrients from the wastewater.
And who's your target market? Like, are you selling the algae or are you selling the system?
So we would be selling the system to wastewater treatment operators, or anaerobic digester operators, whether they be municipal, agricultural, or industrial, food and beverage. And they would be producing their own algae from their wastewater. The algae can then be used either as a fertilizer, as a feedstock for biofuels. We could also sell eventually to specialty algae growers that are growing spirulina for smoothies or making omega-3 acids for nutraceuticals, those sorts of things. But we're just selling the technology to the operators. Capital sale model.
How are you going to be making money beyond the sales there?
So it's primarily the sale. That we do plan on offering a service agreement where we'd monitor the operation of the system, but we expect that'll be a relatively minor portion of the. As a sense of scale, we would need about 4 projects per year to get to break even, so around 20,000 square meters of install base, $8 million a year in revenue to get to break even.
Right, another question from Sohail.
So we're saying we're at a TRL 7 based on getting so we have a fully integrated automated system that we're putting out in Metro Vancouver in a real wastewater environment starting next month.
And we haven't heard too much about your competitors. If you'd like to tell us a little bit more about who or what are your biggest competitors and how you are comparing to them and how you're protecting against them.
So algae-based wastewater treatment is still nascent, so a very small part of the wastewater treatment market in general. Mostly it uses bacteria rather than algae. Our biggest competitor is in the algae space, a company called Grosswen Technology, or GWT. They've just recently sold, I think they're on their 5th sale now, so they're ramping up quite nicely, particularly in the anaerobic digestion market. We believe we can come in at about 20% or less of their cost because our system is simply mechanically much simpler and can achieve similar or better yields per unit area. So we can get the same amount done in a smaller space at a fraction of the cost.
Yeah, last question here.
Yeah, so we've 3 patent applications filed. The first one on the core technology is now at the PCT stage, and the system design patents, 2 of them are currently at US provisional stage.
Wonderful. Give it up. Fantastic. All right, so our next presenter is Paul with ONSITE. I'll invite you up to take the stage here, Paul. I was talking to Thelzel the other day, and she said that Puya came through the startup visa program with a different business, moving to Canada, and is now working alongside Paul with ONSITE. So it's great to see these entrepreneurs come here and be entrepreneurs and be starting businesses. May not be the one they come here initially with, but coming here and yeah, being entrepreneurs is amazing to see. So I'll hand it over to you, Paul, and I'll let you tell us more.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Paul Ellis. I'm here to introduce OnSite HQ, the future of property maintenance and compliance management. We're on a mission to transform the way property managers and service providers handle compliance, work orders, and procurement with our seamless end-to-end digital solution. Currently, the real estate industry is plagued by inefficiencies in property operations and compliance management, leading to poor tenant experience. Legacy systems are often clunky, leaving landlords with poor staff adoption and inaccurate data, which hinders decision-making. Additionally, the procurement process for contractors is slow, inconsistent, and lacks a digital solution. OnSite HQ digitizes this entire value chain. For landlords and property managers, our platform offers a unified data-driven solution that provides complete oversight of repairs, maintenance, and compliance management. This allows for quicker issue detection and resolution, which has been proven to reduce emergency call-outs by 46%. Additionally, our platform lowers the overall cost of maintenance by having access to a network of on-demand contractors who can bid on repairs and maintenance work. For contractors and service providers, this opens up hundreds of exclusive job opportunities, streamlining procurement and accelerating payment. Currently, our platform is made up of several modules. This takes care of inspections and compliance, work order management, asset tracking, as well as a contractor and tenant portal to manage external and internal communication. With mostly founder-led sales, we have onboarded 14 clients and 437 unique users across 100 locations, equating to $200,000 in annual recurring revenue. Our clients are made up of commercial, public sector, and residential property owners. The global building maintenance service market is valued at $381 billion US. This market is expected to expand to $613 billion by 2032, with Canada making up about $22 billion of this. In other words, we have a large addressable market to capture. We operate on a SaaS business model, charging $200 per month per location. We also take a 7.5% fee on contractor procurement, making our revenue streams both scalable and sustainable. Unlike competitors, OnSite HQ offers a fully integrated end-to-end solution that covers the entire maintenance and compliance lifecycle. Our closest competitor, Plantific, dominates the UK and European market, but has no presence in Canada, giving OnSite HQ a first advantage. Our financial projections show consistent growth year over year with an ARR of $240,000 projected for this financial year end. We see our revenue growing to $3 million by the end of 2027, with a break-even date of 2026, all by scaling sales efforts. Our leadership team brings over 60 years of combined experience in building maintenance, software engineering, and business growth. I myself have 28 years experience in building maintenance, risk management in both commercial and residential across Canada. My co-founder, as we briefly mentioned there, Puya Friga, is a two-time tech entrepreneur with a proven track record of growing SaaS companies to exit, with his previous company being acquired for $4 million by SureSwift Capital within a space of 3 years. Our CTO, Rafael Santiago, is a seasoned software engineer who has expertise in scalable web and mobile applications, having worked in both startup and enterprise-grade applications in previous roles. With a current post-money valuation of $2.5 million, we are seeking $500,000 for equity in this funding round to fuel our next phase of growth. We have already secured a $75,000 from our lead investor, James DeGree from SureSwift Capital and their syndicate fund. We're excited to invite you to join us on this journey to continue and expand and disrupt the real estate sector. Thank you for your time. I'm happy to answer this.
Great job. So, Greg, why don't you kick us off with a question here?
Great job. That's incredible. Feedback from the customers so far on the 7.5% share for contractors.
Yeah, I mean, sorry. Yes, at the moment, we've scaled up the product, so we've got the product, but we haven't got any feedback from the clients yet. We haven't set that up yet, basically.
So what do you think is going to happen when they hear that positive industry standard, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's industry standard. I mean, if they can go to a marketplace that they can have access to contractors that are there, I think, and that obviously is scalable based off of like what our feedback is from the industry as well.
Are you targeting like large apartment complexes? What type of channel partners would you?
Yeah, so general partners, we're looking, a lot of our clients we work with now, commercial, residential property managers that own and manage their own properties. And we have some light industrial properties as well.
Got a question here from Sean.
Just a quick one. You mentioned a European competitor that's a big deal. How are you going to win?
Yeah, good. Yeah, so basically how you're going to win against a big European competitor. So Plantific will come to America, and they will come to America and won't bother with Canada firstly. So that gives us a market advantage because we'll be pushing sales in Canada. And by the time Plantific get a foothold in the American market and they look to Canada, then we'll be ready to basically there to be purchased.
All right. Do we have another question at the front here? Yeah, thank you.
Hi. My question is for that marketplace for general contractors or building providers, how real is that? Because I know from many management companies, they all have their own contractors, and it's very segmented, market. How do you think we can kind of change that?
Yeah, with relationship-based, contractors they work with in the past, often what happens is you'll see the pricing of those contracts go up and keep creeping up every year on year. So what happens is with the marketplace, they can go out to tender. So they can tender the process and actually see the real pricing. Because we see a lot of property managers just taking the initial price. And as prices start getting tighter, then they're wanting to look at a competitive market.
All right, fantastic. Thanks so much, Paul. That was OnSite HQ. Next up, I'd like to introduce Harv with Build Smarter. And unfortunately, Sam could not be here today. He tore his Achilles. Was it Achilles?
Yeah, Achilles, yeah.
Oh, that's a tough one to go. So
yeah, it's brutal.
Harv is here to introduce us to Build Smarter, so I'll let you take it away.
Awesome. Yeah, hey everyone. My name is Harv. I'm the founder and CEO of Build Smarter Robotics. We're enabling the mass production of housing using 3D modeling, steel, and automation. As many of you are aware, there's some fundamental problems in construction. The costs are increasing, there's excessive waste, it's very time consuming, the materials are vulnerable, there's a huge sustainability problem, and a big labor shortage. These are fundamental headwinds facing almost every city all over the world. So what do we do? How do we solve this, right? Really what our goal is to get to the lowest linear cost per foot for buildable. So what do? We can take any set of architectural drawings, make a 3D digital twin of that drawing. We then procure raw recycled steel, and we use machines to essentially automate and prefab all your walls, all your joists, all your trusses. They're numbered, labeled, sent to your job site, and installed by big Lego pieces. In fact, I installed the first house myself, and I had no idea what I was doing. So right now we have significant traction. We have over $27 million in projects with deposits paid. We've completed over 20 projects. We have a grant of $240,000, and we're currently working on the tallest prefab steel building in Canada. We're on level 7 right now. Every floor is taking the team about 2 weeks to install. We have won a couple of different competitions all of last year, so kind of in a good traction, and hope to continue the momentum this year. So what's our IP strategy? Really, the IP is the software that enables the whole assembly line to work together. So this is the CAD modeling, the CNC machines, and the robotics to all work to create a nice assembly line. We also have a patentable assembly for our walls, the way they're put together. So we're working on that right now as well. But why now? Right now, there's a big insurance problem, for one. We have forest fires happening in BC on the West Coast in California. We have hurricanes and flooding happening on the South Coast. There's big insurance companies that are leaving the States. One of the solutions is to build housing that is more resilient. And that's what our goal is. We want to create this hub and spoke growth strategy where we have these 3D printing facilities in major city centers that can service all these cities. So our business model is profitable, scalable, and we've been cash flow positive since last year. We fundamentally sell our prefab panels and our engineering services to other builders. We have fixed price contracts, which is very rare. We have about 30% margins per project, and that's getting better every year. And we also have the option to license our software to other manufacturing companies. We primarily serve single-family home builders and these commercial developers and governments. Really, our beachhead market and the majority of those contracts are these 7 to 15-story buildings. The reason being, it has to be non-combustible. So they're comparing us to concrete. We're about 30% cheaper than concrete. So not only are we cheaper, we're faster, but we're also able to work with all the other trades. So we're not really disrupting the process too much there. When it comes to wood, we're still cheaper than wood, believe it or not. It's also faster, and we're a non-combustible solution, which the market kind of needs right now. In this space, there's multiple players. We don't see one solution being kind of like the win-all solution. We just feel like we have the lowest cost solution. We have a structural solution. We have a solution that is automated and a solution that can be scaled up. We're a panel-based solution that can integrate with any type of building. We think that's very important versus trying to take a volume approach. This is the team. This is the team that took this idea from something on a page to over $27 million in projects. And the team might be relatively young, but if we feel like we're a pretty scrappy bunch here. My background is as a builder. I'm an award-winning home builder. I've built a number of single-family homes all over Lower Mainland. Our engineer is pretty good as well. He comes from a background of value engineering and building dams and bridges and taking that value engineering to construction. Our board consists of a UBC professor, a member of the Cowichan tribes, and actually a judge at a competition that we were at in California last year. We're currently raising $650,000. Really, this is a bridge round to get us to that Series A. We've had some conversations for a Series A round. Our revenue has to be about $4 million booked. And this is kind of get us there to help us execute on these projects and we're projecting sales of $7 million for 2025. And this will help us not only execute on these projects, but also help us further develop our code base and our assembly line. We're EBC eligible company. The deal terms for this round are priced, but the negotiation's kind of ongoing. We'll be happy to have like a lead investor kind of come on board there. $150K soft circle and $150K grant with EBC already secured for the phase 2 of this tech development. Yeah, my name is Harv, and this is my information. Please call me, email me anytime. In terms of the exit strategy, we've had some conversations with a multi-family home builder in the States and big steel companies that we're already doing business with. We feel like we can kind of integrate well with those two companies. That can be an ideal acquisition target for us. That's it. Thank you for your time.
Good job, Harv. All right, stick around for some Q&A here. If you'd like to start us off here, Sohail, we'll start at the front here and then go to Abdul after. Like, do you mean like a concrete insulated panel or? Yeah, like the projects that we're winning are where they're replacing wood with our steel studs, or they're replacing the concrete building. So for example, like a building like this, it's primarily using concrete as a structure. We can go as high as 38 stories, and really the steel, all these concrete gets replaced with steel as being the load-bearing kind of membrane. Those are the type of projects that we're winning. In terms of big industrial projects, I think concrete tilt-up is going to win in that space. That's pretty efficient and pretty cost-effective. It's not a space that we're as competitive as versus these kind of 7 to 15-story buildings where every level is the exact same. So if you go to our 8-story building, I mean, there's 4 guys putting up 150 walls in 2 weeks. Abdul?
Question. Sorry, what is your product exactly? Is your software, your machine? What are you?
So fundamentally, our product that people are paying us for are these prefab panels. Really what our technology is the software and everything that kind of makes that whole process work. We're kind of creating the value using the manufacturing, but we're capturing the value by selling these panels.
So how are you different? Is your software in Revit or something like that?
So essentially AutoCAD and Revit are inputs for that 3D model. So we don't want to recreate Revit or AutoCAD. We want to take the AutoCAD and essentially make a assembly line that can make that model fundamentally.
I know that for sure. Like Revit actually can produce right to the machines that does the bending, put the roll in.
Yeah.
And I've seen projects done like that before. I work with it.
Yeah.
structural engineering firm. So I'm just wondering, like, how are you different than what all those machines that's out in the market?
Yeah, so like, it's like a great question. So there's companies out there that can take that AutoCAD model and put it to a CNC machine, but that fabrication is still manual. So what we're saying is we can automate that assembly. That's really what we're doing, is we're making the software that can have the robotic arms that can communicate with the AutoCAD model and not just the machines. So it makes essentially an automated assembly line.
So the arms are going to assemble the final
Yeah.
product, like the building or whatever?
The arms are
Because
assembling.
right now, sorry, just
Yeah.
right now I have the design, I have the machine spinning everything, and then my guys come in and start assembling stuff like Lego, like literally.
Yeah.
And the house could be up in 2 weeks. We've done that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just wondering, like, how is that different?
Yeah, so your process, essentially, there's guys assembling those panels. We're automating that process, so we don't need 5 guys assembling a panel. We can have, one guy monitoring these robotic arms, assembling the panels. That's really what our core technology enables.
Thanks for the question. Greg.
Thank you. Can you talk about your margins a little bit, please?
Yeah, so right now we have 30 to 35% margins per project.
Great, that's great. And future rounds, what's your Series A look like? Series B?
So for the Series A, we're looking to raise $4 to $5 million, and that is towards opening a second facility in California. We already have, we'll have a contract in place probably by the end of this week for a job in California. That's starting. So really our goal is by next summer to kind of put ourselves in position to be able to open and execute on that location, because executing is, on every project is super important.
Got a last question here. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, my question is, where you manufacture the panels? Where do you manufacture, and what stage you are at now?
So right now we are manufacturing the panels in our facility in Surrey, and right now that's in terms of stage of projects or stage of the
Stage of projects and also the products. Are you generating any revenues or sales or maybe?
Yeah, so our revenue for this last fiscal year was, I believe, 975, and then we're on track for 2.5 for the next 12 months here, relatively easily.
Will there be any, compliance?
Yeah, that's a great question. So one of the things when we started off with this idea was, in the building code, we have wood, concrete, and steel, essentially in the building code. The winner is going to be one of those 3 products, and maybe some combination of all 3, right? We don't want to reinvent the wheel and try to work outside the building codes. So we're able to essentially build our homes and our products that anywhere in North America. Steel is in the building code.
All right. Thanks so much, Harv. Appreciate it. All right, some great questions there, and definitely talk to Harv afterwards during the networking. Great looking company with $27.5 million in projects with deposits. It's a great traction already, so chat with Harv afterwards. All right, next up, I need to check my notes. We've got Air Fitness. I'll introduce you to Steve and Carrie to take it away.
We're Air, and we're building a service for fitness nerds who love cardio and for competitive people who do things like cycling and running races. We're rooted in the idea that life is short and our customers put a high value on their time. Cardio is a powerful tool for health, but it's time intensive. I spent the past 10 years here at Apple and at Rivian, and while working on fitness software at Apple, we realized that today's wearables are slow and force you to figure out what to do and when. We dug into why, and we realized that the wrist is great for basic activity, but leg muscles are 100 times better for cardio. We doubled down because cardio zones are a hot topic. These two have over 100 million podcast downloads. Why? Cardio zone exercise is the easiest way to live longer and perform better.
Everyone in this room has 2 thresholds that make all the difference. But 85% of the time we miss these zones and thresholds. Well, why is that? Heart rate zones are age-based averages that are not personalized to you. Enthusiasts know this, and instead they use subjective scales for guidance, which is clunky. Today, the only precise way to find your zones and thresholds is with a lactate blood test. But you can imagine, those are pricey and painful. Well, not anymore. Our non-invasive sensor is a breakthrough. Like X-ray vision, our cardio sensor tracks your muscle oxygen and your personal thresholds. Like a GPS, our AI coach guides you on your training in the shortest period of time. So let's talk about our products. Our core product uses your threshold data to hit your cardio zones faster. This is our protected mode. To reach millions quickly and introduce them to guided cardio, we're going to offer a freemium app that only requires an Apple Watch. But how will we keep this platform dynamic and tap existing massive social media following? We'll offer Train With, where you can be coached by your hero's voice doing their training. We'll partner with celebrities from sports and entertainment to offer voice clones and AI-driven personal coaching based on their exercise routines. And we have a team in place to negotiate those rights and royalties.
Let's talk about traction. 500 customers bought our first sensor, and they're hungry for our subscription features. We have 1,000 on our mailing list, and it's growing at 20%. For Train With ambassadors, we have one Olympic speed skater and a former pro cyclist. On social, we can reach 193,000 followers. For IP, we have 4 exercise algorithms to patent, a sub $100 sensor, and iOS code that can process a wide range of data from biosensors. To meet our goals in 25, we're working to hit 2,000 customers, 20,000 on the mailing list, and 7 ambassadors, 2 million followers, 8 algorithms, and we'll be shipping our Gen 2 sensor. So we need to hit 2,000 customers in 25 and 10,000 in 26 to reach our seed round. To do that, we'll leverage Train With ambassadors' massive following. We'll tap the hunger of millions with Zone 2 content by building the go-to site for cardio, thus driving organic growth. Our Trojan Horse Watch app will intro over 4 million to guided exercise. We'll direct sell, build channel partnerships, and use third-party logistics. Here's an example of how our revenues can unfold. This year, we'll capture 100 pre-orders for our new sensor and target 2,000 orders next year and be on a path to double revenue and ARR annually. The company on the right's been around for 20 years. Pros have used this tech since '09, but the products continue to be expensive and complicated. We're about to make it affordable and extremely fun. My background's in design, engineering, and manufacturing. I've been in multiple startups where I focused on going from 0 to 1 and scaling growth.
And my background is in coaching, marketing, and sales. I've also been in multiple startups handling ops, patents, and with investors.
We have advisors from leading tech, design, and athletic companies. We also have a hard-to-replicate team with rare skills using AI with biosensors, coaches with decades of experience training athletes, and marketers who've launched athletic products. So we're raising a minimum of $800,000, and we're really happy to share that $200,000 is already committed. This will unlock a 15-month runway, $1.6 million in top-line revenue, and $700,000 in ARR next year. We're estimating a 10x return by 2028. Given the hardware in the field, the IP, and our customer base, we're offering at a $9 million valuation. We'll distribute a max of 20% equity this round. Thanks for your time, and we look forward to your questions.
Jump in here. All right, thank you so much, Steve and Carrie. That was a great presentation. So let's jump into some questions. I'll start it off here and ask the one that I know Mike's burning to ask. What does the exit strategy look like here?
Sure. Well, you've probably heard of a little company called Garmin. Garmin is a leader in endurance sports and monitoring, and we planned from the very start, 2 years ago, to be highly visible to them. They're going to want to take us out within 4 years. If not them, you may have heard of the Whoop strap that monitors, in fact, Steve is wearing one. They cover all kinds of overarching metrics. They have nothing to offer when people are exercising. They don't know what's going on. We do. So we're also going to be very attractive to that kind of company.
Wonderful. So Hill.
Just a technical question on the sensor that is used.
Do you want to give him the microphone?
Yeah, can we grab the mic there?
I have a question about the sensor that's used for measuring the activity. You said it's a non-intrusive, non-invasive, so it goes from the surface. Is that a developed sensor or something that you acquire, or is it marketed?
Why don't you repeat the question?
Yeah, and so the question was, the sensor we're using for this non-invasive lactate detection and other things. Is it developed or acquired? It's been developed. We acquired the technology from a Dani. It's been tested in over 10,000 workouts over many, many years. And so it's a great package, but it was overly complex. It was overly expensive. And so we've taken what I learned at Apple about how we miniaturize and make things much more cost-effective and scalable to make it into an efficient, single circuit board design that can be much more attractive and comfortable to wear as well.
Yeah. The really exclusive athletes are having blood tests every 4 minutes, no longer, because this tells them what's going on all the time.
All right, squeeze in here. Yes, do we have a question?
Yeah.
All of Mike's favorite question. Claim to be serial entrepreneurs. In your past, what deals have you personally led? What return on investment?
So, the questions around, past, as a serial entrepreneur, my position's been as a leader in the engineering departments in these different companies. And so I've not led exits. I'm a first-time technical founder here, but I've been part of the leadership team in these.
And on me, the biggest one, I've had 2 in Canada, Colt Engineering in Calgary, Vicom Multimedia. I lived in Oslo for 5 years. If you go to riftlabs.com, I was one of 2 people at the start of that company. They're still in business. Well, I left, I moved back to Canada. So they're still, the original investors are still holding the company, still private.
Jeff,
You mentioned briefly some patent protection. So can you describe a little bit more on the IP strategy and the current status of any patent applications?
Sure.
Yeah, so there's 4 different algorithms that we have that are specialized to detecting how a person is progressing through the warm-up process that are unique and novel with how we're taking this sensor data and using our proprietary algorithms to process it and detect whether a person has sufficiently warmed up. A lot of us don't do warm-ups because they're difficult to see as it's successful. So we've cracked the code on how to do a smart and automatic warm-up detection for people. And so that we're working with a local IP lawyer here to
Woodruff and Evanston.
preparing paperwork for that. So that's on the warm-up side. So there's 2 algorithms around smart warm-up detection. 2 other algorithms are around the ways in which we can detect the thresholds that we were talking about. And there's nobody on the market that's been able to patent in that space. But with our novel approach, with how we both take people through the process to do it and how we actually accurately identify these thresholds in the body, that's what we can go after with these filings.
You may have heard of aerobic and anaerobic. We can determine exactly where those points are. And that's 2 other things that we're going to be seeking patent on.
Thanks so much. Oh, we got one more. Sorry.
So how does that sensor being born? Like, are you targeting an average person or an enthusiast?
Yeah, very good question. This is very attractive to people who are competitive. Okay, so pros and everybody who's competitive in events and wears it. Okay, yeah, those kinds of people, because they're keen. And it's also for people who just want to live longer. They want to be healthier, and they want to save a lot of time with their fitness. Like if your cardio activity could be cut in half per week, look how much time people can save. So, and where it's worn is either on your upper thigh or on your calf. And you just, I have one right now. And so you can see it. In fact, this is what it's reading real time. So when we're finished, you can come take a look. Thank you for the question.
All right, that's all the time we have for questions, thank you so much, Steve and Carey.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fantastic. Definitely make sure to chat with them and ask your questions afterwards. But we've got our last presenter for the evening here. I'd like to invite Chris up to tell us more about private B&B. Chris presented last month and gave it 90 seconds, so we get the full pitch this time. So Chris, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you. Well, we're allowing vacation homeowners to cover some costs without disrupting communities. Airbnb, the party's over. You guys disrupted the whole world in 2008, and you've caused chaos now. You've got communities and angry neighbors everywhere. Did you guys know that 75% of Airbnb hosts only have a single property? But all of the tech tools out there are built for these super hosts, these commercial property managers, and they're neglecting the core market, those single family property owners. Well, introducing Private B&B. It's the most simple and private direct booking website tool ever built specifically for that core market that's been neglected. It's crafted from over 15 years of industry experience by me. I had 2 cabins completely sold out for over a decade, and I never used Vrbo or Airbnb even once. and both my neighbors loved me and my guests. Hello everyone, I'm Chris Gade. I'm one of the founders of Private B&B, and this is my team. From product to engineering to marketing strategy, we have a team of veteran people that have been doing this for a long time. I'm ex-Microsoft alumni, and I have over 25 years experience in building revenues for some of the biggest companies out there. And most recently, we've been accepted into the Startup Founders Hub at Microsoft, and we're gonna leverage everything we can about that. There's a huge market shift going on right now, and you're seeing it in the news, even with our province of BC, with all the bylaws that are going in place. And for the first time since 2008, that shift has now put direct bookings as the #2 biggest way people have been renting short-term rentals. Verbo is #3, and that shift is where we're going. There's a big differentiator in our product and versus anything on the market. You'll see us going up here to the leaders. Well, we're going after the small people. All those other products, we're not a marketplace. We're not a property management software tool. We're a guest reservation management software app. It happened to me. I looked at all my competitors at the time and I said, you guys do 5,000 things. I only need you to do 5 or 6. So I built Private B&B. And we're competitively priced where we can have a single property owner be able to afford to have tools that manage all the automation on letting guests stay at their places. It integrates with credit cards. It allows people to sync with VRBO and Airbnb if they want, so that you're not doing double bookings. And it's simple, it's easy to use. I've got most of my clients coming to me saying it's very intuitive. It's a progressive web app, so there's nothing downloading required, and there's no training required. HostAway, for example, you need a week's training before you can even use it, and that's not what we're doing. We're building simplicity and easy things to use. And here's where the data comes into reality. For the last 6 months, we've been doing data research out there to see if there's a market for this tool, and we've proven that there is. Right now, our CAC price is at $103, and I know we're gonna drive this price dramatically down once we have a proper sales support team in place. And a lifetime total value spend is just under $900, but we're testing a whole bunch of other upsell opportunities that we've been getting feedback from our customers, and that number is gonna triple very quickly. We actually can get a lead for 3 cents, and we have 77,000 people in a database that we're ready to go after as soon as financing comes in and we're ready to go to market. We have 3-year projections at hitting over $3 million, around $3.2 million, and profitability will hit around month 13. Remember, we're a subscription-based annual service, so every 12 months, our revenues will double. And our potential acquisition target at the end of the 3 years would be 8 to 13x, because this market's hot right now, and all the big companies want to look at the direct booking model. This is going to be a $9 billion industry by next year, and we're going to be part about it. We're going to be part of that. This is an example of one of our customers. A lady lives out of Toronto, and she's got a little property in Jamaica, and she spun up a direct booking website in less than 5 minutes. And now she can tell all of her friends and families that she can book directly with them to stay in Jamaica. We've got clients right now. We have over 111 listings live, and we're going to target the US market because there's 4 people out there that are looking for direct booking options. We do have them all over the world, and that ad actually, through data research, we now know we can have the headline and that graphic, and we can produce leads that come in, and that's what we're waiting to do. As soon as we get financing, we're gonna enable our marketing tool, and we're gonna support the growth that we're looking for. We're asking for $750,000. We're currently assessed at $2.5 million, and we have a 36-month playbook target at $35 million. Super excited about this. I have all the proof and the data to show you guys. Come and talk to me. I'm at the end of the room. Thanks very much.
All right, perfect timing as well on that. I saw that hit the 1 second mark right as you finished there. He's just bragging now. All right, so we'll get into some questions. I want to ask one that it seems kind of obvious, but I'm curious to get your answer on this, because with these Airbnbs, with these Verbos, these people have been using them for quite a while. They've built up this reputation on them. How are you going about acquiring and retaining hosts on your platform for those that are sort of reliant on these major platforms so far? Yeah.
Well, we have different types of customers. There's a lot of customers. We actually have a gentleman that would never rent to the public. He's got a mansion on Paradise Island in the Bahamas. But to answer your question, people aren't going to be able to leave Airbnb and VRBO right away. They need help. They don't know how to even market. They don't know where to get guests. So our app syncs with all of the major platforms. So with a click of a button, all of their listings will block off the calendar so they're not double booking. What we're going to do with this funding, though, is build this community and help people understand that they don't need to be dependent on Airbnb. For 10 years, and I didn't pay $1 in advertising at all, did it through Facebook groups, and I targeted niche groups, and that's where everything's going, to target and help people learn how they can get leads outside of using platforms like Airbnb.
Any other questions? Yeah, Sohail.
So this kind of helps with the research.
Well, we're the only tool out there that has discrete and private capabilities. So we'd never tell people to break the law, but there are people that are not able to rent to the public marketplace. So now they're just renting to friends and family. Right now, there's a big court situation going on, and the judge is saying we can't stop people from letting friends and family stay at their places. So people are currently using our tool for that, but again, we can't support laws being broken.
It's good to see you. Okay, can you talk about, your background, SMARTR Labs, how that translates into where you are now?
Sure.
Looks like most of the dev work's done, pretty incredible.
Yeah.
You have a very technical, background. You've also got some skin in the game, which I think is great for investors to look at. You're committed, so can you just tell us a little bit more about the use of funds for this round?
Yeah, honestly, our app is full production. We went through an MVP last year, and for the past 6 months, we've been doing a soft launch. Like I said, we have 111 listings currently right now. 50 of those are full paid customers. Before that, we did a $1 promotion, come on our platform for $1, and we wanted feedback. Building software, it is a very challenging thing. I've been doing it for probably 25 years now. And we've gone through the major bugs and all the issues. And now we're ready to take that 750, build out that sales support team that I've also been doing for years, and ready to go to market. We literally have the recipe where we can trigger through Meta, which will be Instagram and Facebook. Well, we'll get too many leads than I could support right now, and that money will go towards a sales support team to be able to handle the amount of leads we can produce.
Thanks for the question. Yep.
What do you provide to the hosts in terms of, do you give them insurance? Do you give them like the Airbnb guys? Do you give any assurance to that?
So the biggest concern that hosts come to us is insurance. We don't do that. We're not an insurance company. What we're partnered with Insure a Guest, and for $60 a month, they'll give unlimited guests to come to their place. That gives them the same amount of insurance that they would have on Airbnb.
That's done through your platform?
That is, our platform, you can add that cost to your nightly rates, but that's through a partnership, and the partnership is with a company called Insure a Guest. That's all they do.
And on the other end, for the guests, if there's any issues with their booking or that?
There wouldn't be any so we are a tool to allow the guests, so you're actually doing business directly with the homeowner as a guest. So our app itself will protect the homeowners from double booking and so on, but they pay a subscription tool. It's just like someone getting Office 365, they're paying a yearly subscription for them to use our software. So I don't have any guarantees to the guest or to the host, and we don't disclose any of that either. So we're just a platform for people to use.
Is that about most money?
I'm sorry, say that.
The valuation over there is a pre-money?
So that's pre-money right now, and that's basically we've built this platform, and we've got over $1.5 million already invested into the platform itself, and that includes all the data analytics around research to see if there's a market for this.
Thanks for the question, Mike.
So that's what we're teaching people now. So right now, our platform doesn't do that, and there's a clear need for that in the marketplace. Probably talked to around 5,000 people, and they're like, how do I get gas? So we're partnering with these direct consultants that are springing up all around the world. There's a lady even in Vancouver, her name Jem Boyle. She has podcasts and everything on teaching people on how to do that. But honestly, it's not that hard. And part of that 750 grand is to put that community in where we can show people how to do it. With very quick, cheap Facebook ads, you're going to have more leads than your house is going to be able to have to be able to book.
All right. Thanks so much, Chris.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll go back to those last slides here. So again, feedback, interest, you can do online, you can do with the paper copies as well. But those were some pretty amazing pitches today. I look forward to the networking. The last notes, we do have our pitch event coming up in November. It's also going to be here at Manning Elliott, so we're excited for that, followed by the Startup Visa Program pitch previews that happen the day after at 9 a.m. Thank you to Manning Elliott. I see some really, really great food spread out here, so we'll get that all unwrapped and ready for everyone. But thank you. It's been great.